We're feeling very hollow today. Sorry about that. It is the battle of the hollow-bodied irons. We've got a veteran against some new kids on the block, which can only mean one thing. This is toe-to-toe. To toe. There are three irons that... Okay. So hollow-bodied iron constructions are getting increasingly popular with manufacturers and engineers. Why? For me, it's the best of both worlds. Engineers have got a blank canvas to be able to do whatever they want to inside this internal structure of the hollow-bodied iron, whilst maintaining that player-like profile. Arguably one of the best in this category is the P790, the seasoned veteran. It's that good. The second rendition of the Speed Foam Smuggler only received minor adjustments by TaylorMade because the recipe was already really good. So in today's video, it is the TaylorMade P790 versus the Mizuno MP20 HMB versus the Cobra Forged Tec Iron. I can't wait to see these results. Well, that felt like a good start. Soft landing. Oh, stop it. Layers of feel. That could be rather close. It's high. Yep, we'll take it. I do reckon that if iron categories were featured in the Oscars, the hollow-bodied player's distance iron would win Best Newcomer, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's simply because, for me, it's filled a gap in the market. Before we had blade, looks great, hard to hit. Other end of the scale, huge cavity iron, easy to hit, looks terrible. Now what? So let's use milk as the analogy, shall we? Of course. Skimmed milk is the blade. Good for you, but only if you can hack the taste. Then we get to the other end of the scale. Full fat milk, huge cavities, tastes fantastic, not good for the waistline. So thank goodness for semi-skimmed milk. Sits in the middle, the player's distance iron. Tastes a little bit like the full fat, but minus a lot of the fat. It's slightly slimmer. I've just spent an entire minute talking about milk. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah, that's off. With these three irons, we've got very similar tech, but also a lot of differences. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail right now as to what is similar and what is different. We've got the separate reviews down in the description below, so make sure you check them out. As this is a toe-to-toe, we're going to be judging looks, sound and feel, and of course, performance. But please be aware, these are my numbers. This is for more entertainment than anything else, and what numbers I'm going to get. Your results will definitely differ, so make sure you get fitted. Forged Tec. Very impressive review on this if you haven't seen that, down in the description for all the information of what it's trying to do and what it did actually very well. Nice. First category, looks. This is going to be tough. Three beautiful irons. Comment down below which one you think is the best looking out of the three. I mean, at address, these three are very, very similar. I'd reckon the P790 is just slightly smaller, which if it was an address test, it would win. But I'm going to have to give it to the HMB just because you could be mistaken for thinking that that is actually the MP20 blade. So, sound and feel. This is a tough one. For some reason, every one I hit, it was like Groundhog Day. For some reason, I don't know whether that's just the mood I'm in. I couldn't really, especially out the middle, all felt very soft. The P790, though, like I said in the review, felt firmer this year, which I think is a progression on this kind of iron. It's still targeting a better player. That better player is still going to require feel. And I feel that if you hit it toe or heel, you know about it more than probably what you would with the other two. They feel fantastic, very, very soft, but this one's going to have to be the P790 for me. So let's take a quick stop at the spec shop before we hit the dance floor. So 7 irons, all of these, different lofts. The strongest is the Forged Tec at 29.5, P790 30.5, and then HMB 32. So we can expect to see a little bit of a difference with the loft variations in distance. But obviously we're going to judge spin, launch, everything else, so it's not all about the distance in this test. So I've hit 4 shots with each iron throughout this review. Now we're going to go straight to the performance section, continue with these shots and see how we get on. So all 3 of these clubs have got the same KBS Tour stiff shaft in them, so it should be a relatively fair test. The only way to make it a really fair test is have a robot. Again, I'm not the Terminator. So one thing that bothers me with these kind of irons is distance control and spin, but HMB have never really had that problem. Consistent spin almost every single time. That strike was absolutely shiny. Nice, aren't they? That's going to be close. It does that, you see, it's so high and then comes down like this. It's crazy, which is what you want really, isn't it? 7 iron, you want it to stop. You don't want it to go bounding through like Seabiscuit. So for everyone that thinks fatigue is going to play a factor or I haven't warmed up properly, I've warmed up, number 1. And number 2 is I'm doing these throughout the day, so it's not all in one go. Last shot. I could play you. I could. Angelic, gorgeous, but it's time to talk about the iron. P790, the new one. You don't need to say anything, do you? It's a P790. It's basically the godfather of hollow-bodied irons. Say hello to my little friend. That's Scarface, isn't it? Wrong movie. So, shot 5. Going very well so far. Was going well. That was just a terrible swing, so I've had to remove that. Otherwise, that would really affect the averages. Whee! Okay, in the hole, bang, draw. Now, you look like an absolute pillock when you do that. Running, incoming, incoming, lovely. Last, but definitely not least, the strongest of the bunch, the new Cobra Forged Tec Iron. And then there was one. The other 2 iron results have been put in the bank. I'm hoping I can match sound effects to what I just did there, because otherwise that will look stupid. Let's continue with the Forged Tec proceedings, shall we? Bit hooky ducky, please hold on. Rocket, nice. Come on. God, saved with the hands. Let's have a look at the all-important numbers. I've got to admit, these results do tell a little bit of a story. Whilst I tell you the results, we're going to have 1 shot, 1 7 iron, 1 shot with each of the 7 irons to see which one goes further, and just a bit of fun. So you haven't got to see me doing this on here. You know, roll the footage. 10 shot averages with each club, starting with the HMB because that had the greatest loft, 185 carry meters. 193 P790, 195 Forged Tec. Are they shocking distances? Probably not, because the difference is in loft there. Maybe it's a little bit more, but other characteristics play a big part in that particular number. Clubhead speed, 97 mile an hour with the P790, 99 with the HMB and Forged Tec. So the P790 is missing 2 mile an hour, which is a fair bit on average. That could equate to maybe another 2 meters, maybe, and at that point it would be exactly the same as the Forged Tec with a greater degree, which is quite interesting. However, we move to the backspin. 7,000 HMB, fantastic number. 7 irons, 7,000 backspin, ka-ching. 18 degrees of launch. Forged Tec, 6,222 backspin, 17 degrees of launch, pretty solid. P790, 6,000 backspin, that's 1,000 less. Obviously the degrees of the irons are going to play a big part in the backspin, but also if you look at the dispersion, P790, right to left, I had a few more right to left, which is naturally going to knock that backspin down. So my findings are pretty interesting, I think. 3 different irons, very different golfers, in my opinion. The HMB for me, with that amount of spin, it's more of a traditional loft, targets a more adequate ball striker. I'm not going to label these as handicap targets. I'm just going to say, look, HMB, you don't need help with spin, you want to work the ball, and you're not bothered about the extra degrees in loft to get the ball out there, you've already got the distance, that iron's for you. P790 Forged Tec, I feel, is a category higher, still low handicap, but moving into the mid-teens, I'd say. Bit more ball speed, a little bit more forgiveness, I would probably say. Less spin, could be down to the loft, but that's where the distance comes in. And I think someone with a left to right ball flight already produces a lot of backspin would heavily benefit with one of these irons. But that's my prediction. The only way you're going to find this out is get fitted. Cannot tell you how important that is. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching this toe-to-toe-to-toe. If you have any questions, stick them down in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer them all. Hit the subscribe button, follow us on social media. The links are below. Thank you very much.